Hey everyone, Garrett Hodge from Melbourne Warriors here. It's been 11 long years since we've had a college football video game come out, so when EA Sports emailed us on Friday asking if we wanted to get our hands on a review copy, I set a new personal best for response time via email. I thought long and hard about how I wanted to format this review, and ultimately decided it made the most sense to play this game like I imagine a lot of Ohio State fans will. So what did I do first? Naturally, I dove right into the greatest rivalry in college football to see if I could stop Ohio State's 3-game losing streak in the game.
Welcome to the old horseshoe on the banks of the Olentangy, home of the Ohio State Buckeyes and one of the great settings in all of college football. With the scarlet and gray already rocking this house. There's nothing quite like a great rivalry matchup in college football. The bitterness, the intensity, the lifetime of memories that will come as a result of what we're about to see in this one. As we'll see the number 9 team in the country, the Michigan Wolverines, taking on the second-ranked team in the land, the Ohio State Buckeyes. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, David Pollack, and Jesse Palmer with me. Guys, it's time to get it going.
As you can see, they did a pretty good job capturing the pageantry of Ohio Stadium, with Script Ohio, the school fight song, and even how the team enters the field. As for the gameplay, EA Sports College Football 25 plays pretty smoothly. The new passing mechanics with the timing meter take a little bit to get used to, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty simple. You can really make the gameplay as easy or as complex as you want to, depending on your skill level and football knowledge. For example, Michigan's Mason Graham kept demolishing my right guard every play, so I eventually switched up my protection to double team him, and that helped significantly while running and passing the ball. The details this game included are on point. When an opponent is facing a third down in Ohio Stadium, the stadium sounds come to life fully equipped with the bells Ohio State actually uses.
11-yard line.
What an individual effort that time, beating his guy and getting in the backfield and making a play. Ohio State has had so many dominant D-linemen in recent years, right? The Bosa brothers, Chase Young, you know those guys are watching this game. They're proud of what they just saw. This dude is a gamer.
When you get a third down stop, the band comes to life in full force.
Sliding to the first down marker. And the Wolverines decide to punt it away.
There's also the infamous OHIO chants.
Lots of time left, and we're ready to get back to it and open the second period. They love to start this.
If your go-to team in this game is Ohio State, my advice is to utilize Ohio State's rushing attack. Travion Henderson and Quinshawn Jenkins are pretty much unbeatable as a 1-2 punch, as evident on this Travion run.
He's at the 20. Touchdown, Ohio State. And once he got away from the knee, they had no shot at catching him.
I love the execution on that play. Great blocking up front just to get the...
Frankly, there's almost an embarrassment of riches in terms of touchdown celebrations that they incorporated into the game. Personally, I wanted to try the Heisman pose next, so I gave Emeka Egbuka a chance to help me do the honors.
At the 10. Touchdown, Ohio State. What a catch and run for 6.
Ohio State won the game 34-17, with the icing on the cake coming on a Jordan Hancock interception with 30 seconds left. From there, it was all victory bells and a celebratory Carmen, Ohio coming up.
And certainly, that's going to do it for us from here. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.
I also wanted to see what a hostile environment was like in the game, so I had Ohio State travel to Penn State next. The pageantry in Happy Valley was equally on point, with loud "We Are" chants and a lion roar after every Penn State first down on offense.
And a game like this is what makes college football great. Yeah, there's history and tradition, but right here, right now, there is tremendous intensity and bitterness on this field. You can feel it. As we'll see the number 2 team in the country, the Ohio State Buckeyes, taking on the 7th-ranked team in the land. Penn State.
When you're on offense, Mo Bamba comes blaring through the speakers, and the fans create a chaotic environment.
If there's one guy in this defensive side, Kirk, who can be a game wrecker, it's this elite pass rusher, very much on the quarterback's mind today.
The play art on screen is all over the place. I tried calling an audible, and I'm pretty sure 2 of my receivers didn't hear me, and they didn't end up running their new routes.
First play of the drive, looking to throw the football.
But if you can score a touchdown, it'll quiet the crowd right down.
Makes the catch. Can he get in? And he's in. Touchdown.
Dynasty has long been the bread and butter of past college football games, so I was really excited to try it out. You can start your career as a head coach, offensive coordinator, or defensive coordinator. From there, you can pick from 3 coach backstories: motivator, recruiter, and tactician. Considering I'm the recruiting analyst at 11 Warriors, you can take a guess which one I picked. While real players are in the game for the first time, real coaches or coordinators are not. They're all completely generated. But have no fear, your new Ohio State head coach, 11 Warriors, is here. Yeah, real original, right? Since I'm starting at Ohio State and not a lower level school in my first year like I normally would, my contract goal is to make the college football playoff year in or year out, or else I'm getting fired. No pressure though, right? At the beginning of each year, you can change your non-conference opponents if you so choose, but I'm going to keep the 24 schedule as is. As you progress through the game, you'll level up and earn more coaching points depending on the backstory you picked. Right here, I'm just going to pick this perk that allows me to scout QBs quicker than normal and hope it pays off. Before each season, you're tasked with setting up your recruiting board, where you can identify up to 35 targets at a time. Also, as you might have noticed, the game has a recommended targets tab in the top right corner that suggests prospects with higher initial starting interest in your school. But for my playthrough, I decided to go full YOLO and just fill my board with the top prospects in the country instead. What's the benefit of playing a Dynasty of Ohio State if you can't recruit the best players, right? Before we get into anything else, if this sounds too overwhelming or time-consuming on the recruiting front, there is a setting to set recruiting to just auto if you'd rather have the computer do it for you and you just worry about playing the games instead. When you're recruiting these completely fictional prospects that randomly generate each cycle, it's helpful to look at your team needs for next season when deciding which players you're going to target. Since Ohio State will have to likely replace Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins next season, we're going to have to sign 3 running backs for this year. But first, we need 1 quarterback for the 2025 cycle, so I've put the top 3 signal callers in the country on our board. Since I'm playing as Ohio State, the team has a ton of recruiting hours per week, 1,250 in the preseason. Using our hours to scout, we've learned that Martin Goodwin is actually overrated and a 5-star bust, as evident by the red diamond in the top left corner, so we're taking him off our board. Switching to running backs, we've discovered that Colin Flanagan is somehow underrated, even though he's the number 2 running back in the country, so I'm officially making him our priority target. Ohio State is 6 overall in his starting interest of schools, but you can change that in season by spending a lot of resources on a weekly basis to help increase his interest in the school. You can do that by making pitches, sending him direct messages, and other methods. Each recruit has a deal breaker or something that's very important to them, so if your school falls below their threshold, you're no longer able to recruit them. Fortunately, Ohio State is satisfactory in almost every category, except maybe proximity from home, depending on where the target is from. Okay, so good news and bad news. The bad news is, while I didn't end up landing Colin, my overall recruiting strategy sucked. I missed out on a lot of kids because I aimed way too high and finished with the 11th overall class. 11 Warriors forums are sending me to the gulag as we speak and demanding my head. But the good news is, despite me simming a good chunk of games while manually recruiting, I still ended up going undefeated this season before beating Michigan in the game and USC in the big championship manually. And hey, Will Howard even won the Heisman Trophy. I ended up drawing a rematch with Oregon in the Rose Bowl in the college football playoff quarterfinals. We also had the wackiest 12-team bracket known to man. I mean, look at this thing. There are 3 Big 12 teams in here. 2 made it from the ACC. Bowling Green somehow was the group of 5 rep, and South Carolina, by some grace of God, won the SEC. Anyway, my apologies to Oregon, but Ducks do not fly together today. Ohio State ends up winning this game by 1 possession, and by the way, Jeremiah Smith is the top-rated freshman in the entire country in this game by his overall rating of 85, and I had a lot of fun throwing to him because it usually works. Anyhow, this sets us up for a pivotal matchup in the Cotton Bowl semifinals with South Carolina. All right. This virtual version of the Cotton Bowl was much more fun for Buckeye fans than last year's 14-3 loss in the same bowl game. Once again, for the second consecutive week, Ohio State pulled out a win by 1 possession in the college football playoff game, and now advances to the national championship, hoping to win its first national title since 2014. Whoa! Ohio State is playing Oklahoma State for a national title. Well, as long as everyone can drive there safely, I think everything should turn out alright.
And now they'll fight for that beautiful trophy. as we'll see the number 2 seed in this playoff.
This was actually the least competitive playoff game I had. It was pretty much a beatdown from start to finish. But if that happened in real life, I don't think any Ohio State fans would complain. Following the victory, you did get to see a little bit of an extended celebration from the players, which I thought was kind of a nice touch.
That's it. It's official. We have our national champions. Well, this head coach told us we've prepared well. We're ready. I'd be shocked if we didn't go out and play well. And he had a good read on his team. There's a big win.
This team was incredibly well prepared, and schematically, I liked a lot of the things they did to counter how the defense was attacking them. Sometimes games can be won and lost thanks to a good game plan, and we saw how it made a big difference today.
Well, that's it. Dramatic punctuation to another outstanding season of college football.
When the season ends, you get a recap of where your players went in the NFL draft. You do have the option to persuade underclassmen to stay another year, but since Quinshawn was a projected first-round pick, we had a 0% chance to get him to stay anyway. The transfer portal was also a big component of the offseason calendar, and you get a chance to make up for some of your recruiting misses here. For 5 weeks in the offseason, you have to weigh how much to spend your remaining recruiting resources to finish off your high school recruiting targets, or how much to devote to transfer players. There was only one player that transferred from Ohio State's end, so all in all, it was a heck of a virtual year. I also played Road to Glory, which essentially puts you in the shoes of one individual player trying to earn stardom in the sport. Like Dynasty, you have to choose a backstory, with Denzel Burke getting a nice salute as a player that was a blue-chip prospect. Naturally, I wanted a fast progression for the first time, so I chose to be a 5-star prospect. You can play as one of 5 positions, with each having a different archetype, so I chose to be a quarterback that's an improviser. In honor of CJ Stroud, we're going to rock with number 7. The 5-star programs in the sport have varying degrees of interest in me. I'd be Michigan's starter, Notre Dame's backup, and third string at Ohio State, Georgia, and Alabama. We'll pick Ohio State and probably ride the bench the first year. Well, it's only week 1 and I already have the opportunity to challenge Devin Brown for the backup spot, so I guess we're going to have to move to backup sooner than we thought. You win position battles by winning 2 out of 3 minigames, and once you get the hang of them, they're actually kind of fun. You also have to decide how to spend your week between academics, team activities, recovery, and brand, which helps lead to NIL opportunities. Each branch has its own rewards for progress and consequences if you fall behind. Week 1 came and went, but 11 Dub did not see the field. Apparently Will Howard got hurt in the middle of week 2, so 11 Warriors is thrust into action. My initial thoughts after seeing this camera angle is, one, that's pretty cool to kind of have that perspective of being a player on the field, but more importantly, number 2, I completely screwed up not making my number 11, because that's just a missed opportunity right there.
Looking to move it through the air. Rolling to the right, trying to make something happen. Complete downfield. Finds a crease at the 20.
I did well enough this week that apparently I'm being given a shot at the starting job, so that's interesting. Nice, and just like that, 11 Warriors is QB1 after 2 weeks. That was way quicker than I thought. Anyway, that's about as far as I got with Road to Glory, but just gives you an idea of how the gameplay can be for the first couple of weeks. Wrapping up, I have to say EA delivered the authentic college football simulation fans have been waiting more than a decade for. Whether you're looking for a 10-minute game or a Dynasty playthrough that runs 30 seasons, there's something in here for every single college football fan. EA Sports College Football 25 is available at 4 p.m. on Monday on PlayStation 5 and Xbox for those that ordered the deluxe edition, while the standard version drops on Friday. To read a written review that has more of my thoughts on the game, plus read tons of other Buckeye coverage, visit 11warriors.com.